up in a disgusting household and I can't take it anymore.
Then don't. Leave.
My boyfriend, 29 male, and I, 28 female, have been together going on 8 years now. We met while I was in college and have been inseparable since. The first time my boyfriend picked me up to go on our first date, his car was so dirty, there was trash and God knows what on the floor, and I did not even want to put my feet down. The first time he invited me over to his parents' house, I almost threw up. The smell, the dirt, old clothes, trash, dishes everywhere, horrible bathrooms, stains in the toilet and on the seat, and they rarely ever have paper towels, let alone tissues. By the way, this comes from Purple Dynamite 7670, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. But still, I somehow managed to stay and came over more times after that. I was never comfortable, I always hated being there, but I never had the heart to say anything until shortly before we got our own place. On top of this, they had roaches, bad too. It was horrible, but again, I loved him so much and I was scared to ever bring it up to him. But my thought was always, how is he okay living with this? His parents are great. I adore his mom. His dad can be embarrassing and loud at times, but we all still get along fine. I say to that, I don't believe the issue has to do with depression or anything like that. I just think they're hoarders.
Which is like, it's still a mental health crisis. Like, people don't live that way
Because everything's
because
like
everything's kosher.
Something is
something's
afoot.
wrong.
Going on. Yeah. It sucks because his mom tries, and I know she probably just got tired of cleaning up after grown men all their lives, so she stopped cleaning. His parents have a huge pool and nice backyard, but it is still junky. Things everywhere, just like in the house. They have a bunch of people over, and I'm always so shocked. I'm embarrassed to ever invite my parents over. My mom would have a heart attack and probably judge me for not ever saying anything. We have always been taught to keep a clean house to avoid bugs and always cleaned up before having guests. I'm talking the house would be spotless, so I imagine my surprise when I first saw how he and his family lived. We've been together for 7 years, and our parents have never met each other. Part of the reason for me is because I know my parents would not approve of how they live and would probably look down on me for putting up with this, especially since they always taught us to be so clean and tidy. My parents always bring up the fact that they haven't met their parents yet, much more lately than normal since we were reaching 8 years and not even engaged, but I always agree and laugh it off. Never set any plans in motion because in the back of my mind, all I can think about is how different his family is from mine. We recently moved in together in October 2024 and things have been good. I know how he and his parents lived before and I still ignored all the red flags because I love him so much and hoped it was only his parents with the problem and not him. Yeah, right. He made small efforts to clean his room at his parents', but nothing ever stuck. I even swept and cleaned his room one time shortly after we had been together and it went right back to normal, so I have no clue why I thought things would be different just because he was no longer living with them. In our apartment, he does make efforts to clean, but he lacks severely when it comes to cleaning up after himself. He will make a sandwich and leave all types of crumbs and jelly on the counter and toaster, put dishes in the sink instead of the dishwasher, leave hair and dirt stains on the toilet seat, and never cleans the bathroom. It's so frustrating because he will literally ask me what needs to be done instead of being able to see that there is mess that needs to be cleaned. It's like dealing with a toddler and I don't even have kids. Whenever I say anything to him, I automatically feel like I'm nagging him or hurting his feelings. He's very receptive when I say things and will do it, but my problem is it never really sticks. Fast forward to this weekend, he worked for a few hours and came home to use the bathroom and take a shower. I'm relaxing on the couch and shortly after he finishes, I decide to go use the bathroom. To my shock and surprise, there are stains on the toilet seat, poop still floating in the toilet, and when I lifted the seat, there was a string of poo juice running down the toilet. And
What?
This is so graphic. It went
Juice?
on the floor.
I could not stand this relationship.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't stand this relationship.
That's hard.
Couldn't.
Yeah.
I could not.
Because that's different than being, like, messy.
That
dude.
is dirty.
It's dirty.
Dirty is,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah.
mean, like, you can't be in a relationship with someone who doesn't know how to look after themselves.
Yeah, it's hard, dude.
Ugh.
That was my last straw. I immediately came out of the bathroom and told him that he needed to clean it, and he responded, okay, in a low, sad tone.
He said,
okay.
Okay.
My blood was boiling because I still felt bad, and this was not the first time that something like this has happened, and I'm always cleaning up his messes. And hate myself for not saying anything because to him, he had no idea, and that was totally my fault for always keeping things to myself instead of holding him accountable. He cleaned the toilet but didn't do a good job. I still had to go after him and clean the bottom of the toilet and floor, which I notice I always have to do when asking him to do some type of cleaning. I have been so patient in trying to wait for him to pick up on these things. I'm pretty much a neat freak. I work from home majority of the week, so I'm always wiping down counters after I cook, do the dishes as I go, clean the bathroom twice a week, mop, sweep, etc., and clean up before bed, and he will sometimes help if he sees me doing it or if I ask him to help, which sucks. Why do I have to tell you something needs to be done in order for you to see that it is dirty? After he finished cleaning and me going in to clean again after him, I just got in the shower and started reflecting on our entire relationship. So I decided I would speak to him about it, and it went exactly how I imagined it would. I told him the bathroom situation was not okay and how I don't understand how he doesn't see when things need to be cleaned. I told him I feel like a maid more often than not since living together, and that he needs to be mindful he is no longer living with his parents and that he is living with someone else. Yeah, I did forget that they were living together because at first
he moved out. He moved out to live with her, and this is what she's having to deal with, like picking up after him.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Right, because at first I was thinking like, yeah, that's the problem because if you ever do live together, and they do live together.
They live together.
Yeah, because he is like getting trained that like that things will be fine. Like
you'll clean up after him,
right? And
or you'll tell him what to do.
Yeah, like if he's okay with living in this mess, then he probably thinks like, oh, well, I mean, she can clean if she wants to because I don't have a problem with it. So like, I'm not really, you know what I mean? He apologized, said he understood, and said that he would try harder. He did acknowledge that we grew up differently and that it would take him some time to get out of some habits, which I appreciated, but still sucks to hear. And his entire mood shifted. He was talking low, being short with me, and I can tell I hurt his feelings, which is why I always avoid having conversations like this because I know that it will make him feel bad. And then we just enter a quiet, awkward roommate phase of pleasantries. And that's pretty much the vibe that it's been between us since this weekend. Us being quiet and polite as we go about our daily activities.
Breakup.
Yeah.
That's not the best way to communicate in a relationship, guys.
No, it's not.
We shouldn't just ignore problems until we can talk again. Like,
yeah, bad stuff. Bad stuff.
No.
Stop
Yikes, dude.
Stop it.
Yikes.
Breakup.
I don't want him to feel like he has to walk on eggshells every time he does something in the apartment and thinking it has to be cleaned up immediately or I will get upset. I just want him to be mindful when he does things and clean up any messes he makes. I just don't know how I win in this situation. To top things off, this morning as I was getting ready to leave for work, I noticed he made a PB&J because there were crumbs and jelly on the counter. Not even 48 hours after we spoke, so I texted him about it because after we had our talk, he told me he wants me to let him know when he does things around the house, and he promises that I won't be nagging him. So I did just that. I texted him and told him, and he came back and said that he's sorry and that he promises that he is trying. I believe he is. I just hate that as women, we have to be overly patient with men as we wait for them to grow up and get their lives together.
You don't.
Yeah, you don't gotta do that.
You don't.
You choose it who you want to be patient with.
Yeah.
I do get the pressure, but yeah. Yeah, Amy Lynn says, okay, that is a bigger problem. If he can't handle hearing that he made a mistake without making OP feel guilty, then he's not ready for this level of commitment. Yeah,
Nope.
honestly. Because, this is obviously like a big issue, but what if there's even bigger problems that come up and
he's not ready for a relationship?
Yeah, like you have to be open to constructive criticism
Big
when
time.
you're dealing with other people's emotions.
He's a child.
Yeah, I also feel like if I do get to the point where I want to leave him, that also sucks because now the next woman will have the perfect partner. He is literally great to me besides his cleanliness. So loving, kind, and thoughtful, and he makes me happy. We have the same likes and dislikes and have a lot of fun together. I love him so much, if you can't tell by the things I've put up with, and we've discussed getting married and kids, but it's getting to the point where I'm not sure if he will really ever change, even if he says he will, and I can't help but think to the future. How am I possibly going to be comfortable having kids with him knowing his parents will want to see and spend time with our kids at their home? I literally get sick thinking about my future kids crawling on those floors, using the bathroom, putting stuff in their mouths, and playing with the roaches. I just don't know if I can do this anymore. It's really been taking a toll on me. Yeah, honestly.
Don't do it anymore.
With all that dirty stuff, it's like that is a health issue.
It's a health issue. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't be around that.
And the kids are already so messy, so it's like you have to, please, as someone has grown up in a cluttered household, please don't be cluttered for your kids. Teach them how to clean.
Yeah.
It's hard, you guys.
Teach your kids how to clean.
So it's like if you're like that's something that you would want to look for in a partner when raising kids.
Especially because OP called herself a neat freak. Or
Exactly.
clean freak.
Yeah, it's like that's something that
You can't be living
a
with this
bit
guy.
difficult. Yeah.
So how hot is this guy then?
yeah.
To look past this
Yeah, come
much
on.
mess?
Come on.
Yeah, dude.
It's got to be like
Ugh.
he like shines out in the middle of it like a Prince Charming. Like
Yeah. And it honestly
Aw.
does like show more about their poor communication if she's just been dealing with this the whole 8 years that they've been together. So, ugh. How am I to deny our kids from spending their time with their grandparents? And I know it is too late for them to change at this point just because of how I'm feeling. So I'm just feeling stuck. I'm such a nice person and I hate it. I hate confrontation. I have a hard time speaking up for myself and I can just see an unhappy, miserable future for myself. With postpartum depression guaranteed. Please, please, I need some advice on how I should move forward with this relationship. I have been trying hard not to show it, but I know he can tell something's off with me, and I know his feelings are still hurt, but I just don't know how to talk to him about all of this. Our lease ends in October of this year. It will be August in 3 days, and we've been talking about and scheduling appointments to tour the new apartment buildings once our lease is up. But after the incident with the toilet, I've been slapped back into reality of our relationship and I don't know what to do. Help. There is an edit I mentioned after the conversation we had on Sunday, and it's now Tuesday morning, that things have been super awkward, quiet, and polite between us. I went out with my family on Sunday, and before I left, I cleaned the shower and wiped the sink in the bathroom. I was leaving the floor and toilet for him to clean since we were going back to deep cleaning on Sundays. I ran out to the dollar store to pick up a few things before I left. Honestly, just feeling tired and exhausted from the conversation we had, thinking about the last 7 years, reading all the harsh truths in the comments and advice, and especially due to his reaction since his feelings were hurt. I came back home and he was in the middle of cleaning the entire apartment. Oh, whoa. Okay.
Dang. Okay.
That's a big turnaround.
Well, it feels like not a turnaround and more of just like, oh, maybe if I do this, she won't leave me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one
Yeah,
day, so it's
yeah.
definitely not like habits
Yeah.
that he's forming, but I mean.
7 weeks.
Yeah. That's
7
how long
weeks
it
is
takes
the
to
minimum
develop
amount
that.
of time it takes to form a habit.
Yeah. So
Or break
We'll
one.
see.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's a positive.
Something.
It's a positive. And I mean cleaning it how I would clean it. In my head, I said there's hope, but I also feel like, wow, so you were able to clean like I cleaned this whole time.
Yeah.
You just needed me to say something.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think
Mhm,
about that.
mhm, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah. He swept, mopped, wiped down, and put away our eating trays. Oh my gosh. Unloaded the dishwasher, wiped the counters, washed his clothes, and even wiped the windowsills where we keep our plants. I was shocked and relieved. I thanked him, of course, and told him that I didn't expect him to do it at all on his own. He told me I want to do it. I just don't want you feeling like a maid anymore, so I'm okay to do everything for now. This was all I wanted, and part of me feels like a monster for coming on Reddit and airing out his business when this was all I wanted. I hate that it took the toilet incident for this to be the result, but hey. Fast forward to last night, which is Monday now. I got home early from work and got on the treadmill in our building to clear my mind before going back upstairs. He got home maybe 15 minutes after I did, and if I'm being honest, I was avoiding him a little, so I took longer. I know he was still sad and the awkward silence and excuse me's as we walked past each other in the apartment while trying to go about our daily routine was something I just didn't have the energy for after a long day at work. I came home, noticed he was sitting on the couch folding his clothes. We did our pleasantries and I got in the shower. As I was in the shower, I had a mini cry session just thinking about all of it and how I really feel about our relationship, and it sucks because I still love him so much that it hurts and I see he is trying. But I also still feel like I'm not as happy as I should be, especially now after Saturday. When I got out of the shower, I took a little longer to do my aftercare routine because I knew that he would be able to tell that I had been crying in the shower. I came out after about 10 minutes and said hi to him, and he immediately said, "So I've been thinking more about our conversation, and I'm sorry." He then went on to say that he is sorry that I made him feel like a maid, and that he was sorry that I felt like I couldn't talk to him about these things. He also brought up a conversation that we had 4 years ago when I indeed tried to break up with him because of his cleanliness, and ended up staying with him after he apologized and we had a heart-to-heart. Okay, so that's interesting. So they did have a conversation with this a few years ago.
Yeah, but nothing changed until like now?
I guess not. I mean, he apologized before, and I guess that was enough to keep her in the relationship, but
Guess so.
I'm a little worried that that means that that's gonna happen now. And
Yeah,
he's
that's
gonna
all. I
hope.
feel like he's just gonna revert back.
Yeah, exactly. After that convo, he asked me to always let him know when something is bothering me, no matter what, if it hurts his feelings or not. I will admit I'm in the wrong because I did tell him I would work on doing that, and I can admit I have not done that. So that's on me.
Yeah, the people pleaser in you.
Yeah, they don't seem to have very good communication in this story. She always like kept it in and just kind of cleaned.
Let it fester.
Yeah. After he apologizes, he also adds that he wants me to give him some time to make all of these things a habit, and he admitted that this was his first time living alone after his parents, and he thanked me for having patience with him. After this, he started remembering a very few small things that I do that annoy him. I did ask him when we had the conversation on Saturday so that I could be mindful and didn't want him thinking that I was just picking on him when I told him I felt like a maid because of all the things I do to clean up after him. So yesterday, he brings up that sometimes, maybe twice, left the toothpaste in the sink. Understandable and an accident, but I agreed to be mindful. He says that I will sometimes tell him that I will do something like wipe out the dryer, put a load of clothes, and don't get to it when I say. In my head, I was thinking yes, probably, because I got sidetracked and started to clean up one of his messes, but I didn't say this out loud.
I see what's happening now.
Yeah.
We have the boyfriend that has a huge problem,
Mm-hmm.
and he feels very called out for having this huge problem. And the girlfriend has small little problems, but to keep it even, he's playing score because he keeps bringing up stuff from the past, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that these problems are cleanliness problems too. So he's probably thinking like, well, why are you saying this about me when you're doing all this? Even though it's different levels.
Because I think there's a difference between being human and forgetting a few things versus living disorderly.
Yeah,
I
exactly. Like
have-
choosing to live like that.
I've learned that I do not like a messy room. How it was pretty rough being with me in my room today, wasn't it?
Well, you're moving.
I know, but like
So I understood.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not having a good time.
Yeah, which is honestly a kind of good example because it's like it affects your mental health, your living space.
Oh
like,
yeah.
even though it might be comfortable because you're used to that, like it overall and very subconsciously, if you have a clear space, you will just feel so much better. Even if you're not in that space, like even if
Yeah.
just the backyard was clean and you just saw it through the kitchen, like
I
that
think
would feel better.
a clean room reflects the state of your mind.
For sure. All in all, the conversation went well. He apologized for being quiet the past few days and that he was just sad and processing everything that I said to him. He said he loves me very much and he hugged and kissed me afterwards. I couldn't help but think about the toilet again, but I am willing to give him until the end of our lease to make a 180. If he doesn't, then I'll know what I need to do. I have a bunch of money saved up and will start to look into a studio apartment as a backup option in case things don't work out.
Ooh.
And by the way, in case you didn't know, we've got more full episodes of stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more into the story, but I think it's nice to like give him a little bit of grace here. He learned these habits from his parents and growing up, and it's like that's so hard to unlearn because you just see no problem with it, really.
Yeah.
Like you're like, yeah, I could clean it. Like I know how to clean it. But, like, I just don't think I need to. Like, it just doesn't, you know, we're just crazy for the poo-poo stains. But, yeah, like, it when you're with your family or when you're with a partner, you have a lot more forgiveness there, which is obviously what's happening with OP, too. But, like, if you're either living on your own or, like, living with roommates, that you don't have any forgiveness there. Because they're like, dude, you got to do this or else, like, it becomes, like, a business transaction there. So, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
But there's a little bit more to the story. So, I really do love him, and I see that he is trying. As I'm typing this, he texted me asking how he left the toilet this morning because he made sure he looked at it when he finished, and he flushed twice. I appreciate his efforts, I really do, but also some part of me still feels like it would be best to end things, and if we end up back together, then we do, and if we don't, we don't. He kept saying to give him some time, but how much time is too much? I don't know. I will try to go back to normal as much as I can because I know that that's what he's hoping for after we talked yesterday. I know he could tell something was still off, and I know I told him, and you wonderful people in the comments, that I would tell him when something is bothering me. So I want to tell him I truly appreciate his efforts to keep the apartment clean, but his car, his parents' house is still a very big issue to me, and honestly, just see what he says. After these conversations we've had, I do feel as if I'm able to open up a little bit more to him, so I want to give myself time to think about the wording, but I'm planning on bringing this up to him soon. Thank you all so much for the advice and comments and words of wisdom. I truly needed it. I'm also researching therapists to help me with my own issues and am contemplating bringing it up to him once I do find one to see if he would be open to seeing one as well. So, thank you. And
I
that's
like
the end of that
this.
story.
I like this a lot. Taking a step back, I could not live with someone this messy because like
Yeah.
that
it's
affects your
dirty.
mental health, dude.
It really does. It
And you
really
got to be the
does.
best possible person of yourself before you,
Yeah.
you know, engage in a marital situation.
Right, and she was thinking too, like about kids. Like if they had kids and like either they lived like this or they wanted to go to his parents' house, like the
Yeah.
kids would be getting all that grime all over them because
They
they're
could-
kids. They don't know.
Well, they could also help with their immune system, though.
I guess, but
I see more
sometimes-
pros now.
Could have diseases though. No,
You beat the
No.
diseases when younger.
no.
It's like a coin flip, dude.